guys, gals, and my non-gender conforming pals. My name is Carrington and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I would love if you would hit that subscribe button below and click the little bell so you can be notified of all my future uploads. So for today's video, I'm going to do an eye look with my Lunar Beauty palette. I filmed some videos yesterday, and then on my private Facebook page, I posted the eye look that I did because I really loved it. And a lot of people commented like, can you put that on your YouTube channel? I really want to see how you did it. So here I am back today to show you guys how to do that look. So for most of this look, we're going to be using the Lunar Beauty Moonspell palette. I love this palette. It is so good. I'm honestly thinking about buying a backup or two because he said once these are gone, they're gone. And that makes me so sad because I love this palette. Here is the inside. And for the looks I'm going to do today, we're mainly going to use these three shades and then this purple right up here. I will be dipping into a few other palettes to kind of add some extra touches. Of course, you don't have to do that. And you can really, and if you choose to, it doesn't have to be those specific palettes. You can really choose whatever palette that you want that has similar colors to that, because these colors that I'm going to use to add to it are common in a lot of palettes. So let's go ahead and get started. First up, I'm going to prime with my Blvd eyelid lock it in eyeshadow primer is what it's called. Love this, love this, love this. It is $4 at Dollar General and it is so good. It's nice and sticky. I feel like my shadows really last. I'm actually thinking about doing a video where I do a couple different days with like one eye Blvd and one eye like P. Louise, NARS, MAC Paint Pot, any other primers that I have. Urban Decay is another one I have, and show you just like how much better this primer is. It's so good. I'm gonna blend it out with my Morphe M166 brush. Just kind of looks like this. It's really easy to blend it on out. So just take it and blend your eyes. It's really good as like a way to cancel out your lines as well as being nice and sticky to apply your bases. I don't go over it with like a loose powder to set it. I feel like my shadows last a lot better when I just go in with it being just plain sticky. So I'm going to do this to the other eye and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back and the lids are primed. As you can see, it cancels out a lot of the colors and it's nice and sticky and ready for me to apply my shadows. So for the first shade I'm going to go into, I am going to use my Morphe E40 tapered blending brush and I'm going to dip into the shade Sarah. I'm going to tap into it rather lightly and it does have some fallout, but as I mentioned in a previous video, I have more luck with pigments and workability with palettes that have fallout than ones that are more hard pressed. I know some people hate that, and if you do, maybe this palette isn't for you, but personally I have better luck with them. So I'm taking on my brush, I'm not going to tap off the excess, and I'm just going to start kind of in my crease, kind of windshield wipers motions back and forth, dragging it up close to my brow bone to kind of make a gradient. Now remember, I have hooded eyes, so when I open them up, the stuff in the crease disappears. So I really want to make sure that when I open my eyes, I'm doing some work on them with the blending so you can see the shadows. And when less product is on, bringing it more up towards the brow to kind of make a diffuse gradient. And of course, take your time blending with the shadows. The saying goes, you blend until your wrist hurts. That's how you know you're blending. You can see, just a nice light coat. Love that. Now I'm going to do the other eye and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back and both eyes are done. We've got a nice gradient. So it's like light and it goes down darker, and that's what we want. I'm going to take the exact same brush, oh my gosh, the exact same brush I was using, the E40 from Sigma, and I'm just going to go into Winifred. I love that like Winifred, Sarah, and Mary are like, I love Hocus Pocus. That is the Halloween movie for me. So I'm going to just tap on into it and I'm going to just kind of work it. I don't want to go all the way up, so just work it a little bit lower but still up above your crease so you can see the shade. But you want to make sure that you're having it be lower than the color you just put, so you have a gradient, so it doesn't look so harsh. And again, just take your time blending. Blending is what makes an eye look good. Take your time blending, windshield wiper motions, circular motions. You can see the difference between the two eyes. This has a lot more depth than this one. And then whenever I open up my eyes, I notice I don't really see a lot of the darker color, so I'm just going to tap into Winifred again lightly, open up my eyes, and kind of just focus it right here. Close my eyes. Just like that. Then of course, if you want to and you feel like maybe you did lose the color that was up above, just take another brush since you've already used the dark color in that one, or you can color switch it to go back. I'll just take a different brush. This one's stained, it's clean, but it's badly stained. This is the Morphe M441. I'm going to go back into the Sarah shade and just lightly, very lightly, like hold like the very end of your brush. Just kind of go over it. Nice and lightly. Just like that. Alright, I'm going to do the other eye and I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. And this is what the eyes are looking like so far. Might be looking a little bit crazy, but it's going to clean up over time. So, the next shade that I'm going to use in the Lunar Beauty is Kiki. It's the darkest one here. And for me, to get the color that I want, I really have to build it up. Well, just kind of packing it on there, getting that color that I want. Really packing it on there. Make sure I'm packing it in my like little folds. Just packing it all in there. Even packing it up right in my orbital. And this is like a really good brush to really get in there for my eye shape personally, and that's the E33 Detail Diffused Crease by Sigma. I'm gonna just keep right on packing it. Okay, so I've packed it a few times, and now I'm just going to kind of take the brush and just kind of lightly sweep back and forth, just a tiny, tiny bit. Like it's like going in my crease, but it's also diffusing up just the slightest, and that's what I want. Slightly doing that. See, just adding some depth and dimension to it. Okay, so for me, I want my outer corner to be just a tad bit darker, and unfortunately, Kiki is the darkest shade. But as you can tell just by looking at the pan, it's not a very intense dark brown. So if you want something more intense and more brown, you're going to have to go into another palette, which is what I did for this look. I did go into the Sydney Grace Tiny Marbles palette, so I could use the shade Spiders right here. My palette came broken. Sydney Grace is sending me another one. And I just want it just to be a little bit right here. So I am taking my Sigma E36 blending. It's very, very tiny. And that's perfect for hooded droopy eyelids to really get some detailed work exactly where you want it. So I'm dipping into Spiders very lightly because the shadow is very pigmented, and just kind of working it into the outer V. Making sure I'm really getting it in there. Just taking the time to build up the color and really blend it out. Make sure you're getting in those creases. And you're gonna have creases in different places, everybody is. So just make sure wherever you do have a crease that you're really just digging your brush. So I have a crease right out here, and I have a crease right here. Make sure you're really digging that color in to pack it on. This is kind of the finished look that I wanna go with the browns. So I'm gonna do the other eye and I'll come right back. All right, I'm back. My eyes are a complete and total absolute mess, but we are going to get this cleaned up because we're going to do a cut crease. So to cut my crease, I'm going to use a concealer. The concealer I'm going to use is the Jeffree Star Magic Star Concealer in C1. This is my normal concealer shade because I'm real pale. And I'm using a Morphe brush. It doesn't say like a name on it, but this is what it looks like. Just kind of a dense packing brush. Just going to take a little bit on the back of my hand and get some on the brush. And then lightly just kind of start tapping it just a little bit above the crease. Just slowly taking my time. It's not a race. And just kind of sitting there carving out the areas that you need. And don't take it all the way over, just a little ways over into the brown. Tap it down and then just fill in the rest. Cut creases really take a lot of practice and do take a lot of time, so make sure you're just taking your time. I would suggest not doing cut creases if you're in a hurry, especially if it's your first time doing it. Some people I know can do cut creases in literally like 3 seconds. I cannot, especially with my eye shape, but I know some people can. And if this is your first time ever doing one, again, just slowly take your time above the crease, so when you open your eyes, you can still see right there where you're gonna go with some shadow. So that way when you open your eyes, it's not just disappearing. So I'm gonna do the other eye and I'll be right back. So I am back and both lids are cut. It's a little bit crazy out here on like this outer part, but you're gonna go over it again with shadows and your cut crease. So before I lay down the color that I want, I am going to actually take my NYX glitter primer and I'm going to lay that right above the, well not above, right on top of the concealer. I'm going to take it on in Morphe M213. And again, I apply this for glitters, shimmers, anything that I'm going to really put on my inner lid. Just go over it with this. I really think this helps the shadows to last longer and really gives it more of a punch. I love this. Alright. And it even makes the base like a little bit whiter. Alright, now that the glitter primer is set for both eyes, I am now going to dip into the Lunar Beauty in the shade Peru. So it is this shade right here, and I'm going to pack it on top. And to do that, I'm using another Morphe brush. It just says Morphe on it. Here's kind of what it looks like. I'm going to take some of that Peru shade. Just start tapping it on. Alright, just really work on packing it on there, building it up. Just kind of like that. Kind of hard to see with these lighting, but it's definitely like a purplish, pink, white kind of shift. I really love that. I'm going to do the other eye and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back and I try to kind of adjust my lighting to maybe so you can kind of see like the purple, pink, white shift to it. So now we need to like marry these two colors together. So I'm going to take that E36 tiny brush. I'm just going to start kind of mixing them together with a little bit of that Sydney Grace product. Just slowly kind of going over it. And then taking that Morphe brush and just kind of tapping along here as well. And keep going back and forth until you get the desired transition that you want. So it's kind of like that little gradient where it's like really bright and then it kind of mixes into the brown and then it goes straight to brown. That's kind of what you're gonna want to have. And then, you know, if you need your outer corner darkened up a bit, just go back in with your brush. And this is why I always say if you have really hooded, droopy eyelids, to do eyes first, especially if you're doing something dramatic. If you're literally just putting like your bronzer in the crease and then throwing maybe your highlighter on the lid or something like that, I would say you could go ahead and do the face first, but when you're really trying to dig into these creases and the outer corners and making sure everything is nice and blended, I would say definitely do your eyes first. All right, so both eyes have that gradient. They're both an absolute mess. But another thing that I did to really kind of add some pizzazz to it is I took my Blvd palette from ColourPop and I went into their glitter called Overpacked. Again, if you don't like glitters, don't do this. If you're not comfortable, don't do this. Of course, I would say if you are comfortable with using glitters, use a glitter glue. And for this, I literally just lightly tap in it. I don't want a lot. And just lightly tap over the lid. Just lightly. And it just adds a little something. Not a lot. Again, lightly tap over and just add a little something to each eye. I think that's so stunning. So now I'm going to take a wipe and I'm dropping everything, you guys. Oh, it's so bad. My desk is a mess. I have not cleaned it in weeks and stuff is everywhere. So I really need to clean it. And I'm just going to take my makeup wipe and just kind of clean up my edges where I need to. And see, that looks so much better just already. So I'm gonna do my face and I'll be back so we can do lower line and mascara. Alright guys, I am back and the face is finished. This is what we have going so far. And we are going to finish up the lower lash line. So first I'm going to take a Morphe E17 brush. I'm going to dig into not the Tiny Marvels palette, the Moonspell palette. And we're going to take Sarah, that first shade that we used. And we're just going to take it all over the lower lash line. Bring it down kind of low because that was our transition shade. Kind of want the transition shade to match up there. Just like that. And then I'm going to take the exact same brush and I'm going to dip into Winifred. But I'm not going to go as low down. And then I'm going to take that blending brush. I lose literally there. Actually, I'm just going to take this E21 smudge brush from Sigma. I'm going to go into Kiki and just run it the outer corner right next to my lash line. Right up next to it. Just like that. So then I'm going to take, there it is, my NYX Vivid Brights eyeliner in Shine Bitch. So we have the purple going on the lid, and I'm just going to put this in my waterline. And I really feel like adding that purple really did something kind of special to the look. So for my inner corner highlight, I'm honestly just going to take the highlighter that I used. Sorry, had an itch. It's the Cookie highlighter from Blvd. I love this, and honestly I'm just going to take it on my pinky finger and just kind of pack it right there in the inner corner. Next up is mascara, and so I got this sample whenever I ordered, what did I order from Urban Decay? Can't remember now. I ordered something from Urban Decay and I got this Subversion Thicker Bolder Lash Primer. So let's try this out. I feel like that did something. The mascara I'm going to use is the Warrior Princess from Flower Beauty. So there's one coat of the mascara. I'm going to do the other eye and do another coat and then I'll come back. Alright guys, and this is the completed final look. What do you think? I love this look, especially since it's like turning into fall. I think it's very whimsical. So if you guys like this as well, leave a comment down below, thumbs up this video, and if you have not subscribed yet, go down there and hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so you can be notified of all my future uploads. And of course comment because I love interacting with you guys. I will see you in my next video. Bye.